What did you like better, Jedi or The Empire Strikes Back?
Empire.
Blasphemy.
All Jedi had was a bunch of Muppets.
Boring conversation anyway.
Hey, Star Wars fans, and welcome to Boring Conversation Anyway. This is episode 256, and today we got a special show. I can't do it alone. You can already hear someone huffing and puffing, but I got my two good friends with me, Brian and Chris. Let's throw it to Brian first. How you been, buddy?
I feel hoodwinked being here. I feel misled into recording a podcast today.
Go on. Okay.
So Chris texted me. He's like, "Hey, are you free Labor Day?" Thinking like, "Oh, it's a holiday. Maybe he's doing a barbecue or something." So I say yes. He's like, "Okay, cool. We're going to record a podcast." And I'm like, this is not what I had planned for the day, but okay, sure.
And then you still hung on to hope, like,
yeah,
in person? Like,
yeah,
no,
maybe
Skype
we're doing
is
this
fine.
like, at his house and we'll watch like something on the project. Nope. All right, fine. It's fine.
Hey, man.
No big
My
deal.
friend invited me to a hardcore show somewhere in Norwalk if you want to come.
No, I'm not a fan of hardcore.
Just throwing plans at you. For Labor Day, man, I don't know. Try to make the most of it. It's a beautiful day out, so hopefully you can get outside into beautiful Yonkers and enjoy it.
I'm going to jump into the pool one last time, I think, before I have to, not that.
Be nice.
You can't shut it down until you have like 5 or 6 days of 60-degree weather, because if you shut it down before that, that's when all the stuff grows in it. Thor, man, how you been? You all right?
Miserable. Definitely miserable. I hope the Death Star floats over the planet Earth and blows it up.
All right.
Or actually, just more specifically, Bethel. You know how they took out Jeddah?
I'm going to say...
You could just take out Bethel.
More specifically, your house.
Yeah, my street. Let's just say we narrow it down further.
No, there's enough in Bethel where we could do without it. I worked there for a while. It needs to be gone.
Yeah, it's just gotten a little bit too... The frog people are out of control. The New Yorkers are out of control. It's just a bad town.
The town's kind of insane.
What?
It's an insane town.
Mind your business. They know who they are.
What are we talking about today? Star Wars.
Yeah, we're going to talk about Star Wars, man. We're going to talk about Star Wars.
We got Star Wars news?
Yeah, I got a ton of news. Ton of news. And I'll bring up something that's been out for a while, but we missed it because of our recording schedule. I'm going to talk about the Acolyte not returning for Season 2. Brian, what's your thoughts on that? As you're chewing a crack. What do you got there?
Carrots. Ask me if I'm surprised.
Well,
ask
I don't
me
think
if I'm surprised.
Yeah.
No, I'm serious. Campbell, ask me if I'm surprised that there's not going to be a Season 2.
Are you surprised?
No, I'm not surprised.
Okay.
Like, it had some of the best fight scenes in Star Wars history mixed with writing of a Disney Channel original movie. Like, it was not good. Like, it was not.
Yeah.
And again, if again, I only watched 2 episodes and maybe a little bit more, and I'm just saying, if it happens, Brian says it's not good. I happen to agree with what it wasn't my taste, right? Like, it wasn't for me. Now, if some people think it's good and it has its audience, then I wish that it had found its audience, but it doesn't really seem like that was the case, and also pretty expensive to make. And I think that's what I was reading, is that they kind of just have a thing where it comes to just a numbers game of if it costs this much to make, it should be being viewed this much, and it just wasn't hitting those numbers. It's just like regular, TV, I think.
Right.
But yeah, I don't know. I mean, hopefully, is there a story to keep telling that we want to keep telling, if for the audiences that we're looking forward to that story? Do you guys feel that way?
It's definitely open to continuation.
There is a story that could be told, and the story would be, to me, it's all about Plagueis and then the Emperor. That's what it's all about. That's the story you could do that people would be really into. You tease us with Plagueis.
But that's not the venue for that. It's the Emperor we're talking about. The guy's been in all 9 Star Wars movies. It's going to be like, oh yeah, we'll just on this show that's not even about the Emperor. You know what I mean?
Right.
Wasn't in all 9, but all right.
That's a good point. But spiritually, he's in all 9. He's referenced in the 4th one, and he's
I was thinking
he's behind the scenes in the 6th and 7th one, or rather the 7th and 8th one.
7th and 8th, yeah.
We didn't know it at the time because
because the writers didn't know it at the time. Yeah.
because Ryan Johnson didn't know it at the time either. But
Okay.
oh man.
Yeah,
So, yeah.
I think listen, I would start. I don't know. It's 100 years before Phantom Menace, right? And I believe the Emperor's 50 at Phantom Menace. So it's 50 years before he's even born. I don't know if you can sync up any of the other characters with him, but I think you just go full force to do Plagueis and the Emperor. I think that would be a show. But we'll get into shows later on because there's some show news. Is it show news? But we'll talk about it later. All right.
Stay tuned.
Yes, that's a nice tease. That's something I can't even spit out of my mouth. All right. Why did Disney leak it? They never talk about anything. They always leak it through the trades. But why did they leak this? Because they did not like Boba Fett. Clearly, Boba Fett is not coming back. But they never announced it wasn't coming back. Why
was it ever meant to? I never took Boba Fett as being like, let's see more of this. I mean, I'm sure if it did really, really well and people were like very, very thirsty for it. But I don't know. I never got the impression that season 2 of Boba Fett was really in anybody's horizon. But I could be way wrong though.
No, I'm the same way. It didn't feel like it needed a continuation. It ended.
It didn't need one because he just let the girl do all this thinking and doing. Yep. It didn't need one season. It could have been half a season. It could have been one shot of him getting out of the Starlight Pit and then credits.
You mean Fennec
and
Shand?
the Rancor running around.
You mean Fennec Shand?
Yeah, she really did a lot of the legwork.
Yeah,
a lot of the thinking went on.
Let's give her a show. I say.
We got some Boba Fett.
I would watch a Fennec Shand show.
Too. Yeah, I would too. Okay. All right, so that's not good. Now, the other question I have to ask you, as with Willow was taking off the service and then sold out to other like Tubi and stuff like that. Do you think that this is something that will happen for the Acolyte if there is a way for them to save money on taxes and stuff like that?
Depends on how much they're going to make and how much they'll save.
Yeah, I just don't know enough about the streaming business to.
Right.
Yeah, not to mention Willow seems like a smaller IP.
Very much so. Yes, of course. Yeah.
And Willow probably though just as big of a budget, I would think, or pretty close, because Willow was done right? It was that I unfortunately I didn't see it until it got taken off, so I haven't seen it before. But I don't know. No,
I didn't watch it. But I saw it. I watched the original movie.
I watched it, and I did not enjoy it. I would say the same exact thing. There was something there. That's what we keep saying about the Acolyte for us. And there's plenty of people that love the Acolyte. At least 45,000 of them. That's because of.
I was about to. I have yet to meet one. All right.
A survey who went out that's about 40,000 in chains that are trying to keep it alive.
Also, just for the record, I definitely talked to a couple people that were into the Acolyte, like episode 1, episode 2, that were on board. So we're talking also about like drop off.
That's what we're talking about right there, by the way. The numbers show that, through this announcement about what was canceled, after episode 2, the numbers just plummeted. And I thought it would be up there to 3, because 3 is when it's all about, hey, is Anakin special anymore kind of thing because of what goes on in that episode. But people didn't even want to get to that episode. So, listen, that's the problem here. When you're on a streaming service and you need to make content, you also need to make content for the droves of people that are on it, not just Star Wars fans. And
that's
if it's
something I was going to say.
Yeah, too niche and stuff like that, I don't think it goes over.
Not unless it's budget appropriate.
That's another point. Yes. 180 for half-hour shows, basically for less than 4 hours, $180 million is absolute ridiculousness, especially since most of this time you were on one street and you were in the woods. Where's the $180 million?
Honestly, that's a similar budget to, was it Secret Invasion? The Nick Fury show?
Yeah. Look what happened there.
Yeah, because that was like $200 million. Yeah. And after that was released, Disney, or the Marvel side, was like, all right, we're going to take a step back of how much we're actually going to produce to.
Right.
I got a couple theories for you here.
Sure, go ahead.
Shoot at you. Just things to think about and streaming and television. It's like, let's take a look at Marvel, right? Marvel movies for a long time, guaranteed, probably going to be number 1 movie at the box office when they're released, going to make their money. And that was the way for a very long time. the shows are a different sort of thing, right? Where people are watching the shows, but they're also, it's how we're watching the shows. You, me, Brian, we're not getting together to watch the Captain America Falcon show. We're getting together to go see Captain America Civil War, right? We're going to the movie theaters. It's an experience. It's a thing. I think that's part of it. And when you look at television shows, you look at what's popular, what's getting watched, genre shows, not so much. Now, IP, right? Star Wars, Marvel, Lord of the Rings, whatever. Those are IPs that I think for a long time people thought they could just bank on. People showing up for these things. People have being invested for them like their whole entire lives, right? We're reaching a point where it's just too much. And people like myself are just, I can't keep up with, there's not enough time in the day to watch a Star Wars show that's not giving me, that I'm not enjoying. Look at the Lord of the Rings. Look at the Rings of Power. I think I read an article that the first season was the most expensive streaming show ever made, but they had a huge audience drop off. And that's just because, it's still got to be a good show. What's the hot show right now? Like, what's the show people are talking about? Because I bet you it's not has to do anything with space or with dragons or with that kind of stuff. And that's okay. I'm just saying we have to evaluate that, that audience, that fantasy science fiction audience for television shows. I don't know. It just seems like television shows nowadays, it's about drama shows, heavy drama shows. Those are things people talk about.
Like The Bear.
Succession The Bear. Yeah, those kind of things. And that's okay. It's just it's got to be proportionate to what audience you're really expecting, because the audience that turns out for Rise of Skywalker, it's not the same audience that's going to turn out for all episodes of, these shows. And again, nobody expects that, obviously. I don't think anybody expects that. But quality matters, and I think this kind of proved it. And I don't want to knock anybody on that show. The performances, the actors, the people that put hard work into it, I 100% get it. But somewhere along the way, you got lost. I mean, you just can't deny,
yeah,
a lot of people just weren't into it, just dropped off. This isn't for me, and dropped off, and that's
we'll get into the ins and outs of. I have that kind of almost a little bit of topic at the end of the show about where we see the shows going and the things that Iger has said in the past, and what's going to happen. But as some show news, we got some new show news for the first time in a while. We got to start to filming date in summer of 25 for Ahsoka season 2. Natasha Liu Bordizzo was at Dragon Con, and she said that we're going to start in the summer of 25.
Who is that?
She plays Sabine.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah. She said another thing she said is it's not filming until Mando and Grogu finishes, which Mando and Grogu finish in October. So unless they're talking about if they need reshoots and stuff like that, but I don't see the two connection, but I guess maybe that's what they're talking about. But they're not going to start filming until almost a year from now.
I mean, I was going to say, sure, they may finish in October, but there's still post-production to do.
Yeah. And reshoots and all that kind of stuff that always happens in movies. And there is a story, non-story where, the Mando movie coming out and what's his name? What's his name who plays the Mando?
Pedro Pascal.
Yeah, that he's, looks like he's got some dates where he's got to be there in person. So everybody's wondering. Oh, man,
you got to actually be there to show up for your job. They get paid millions of dollars, too. God.
Oh, my thoughts and prayers.
Terrible life.
I think he's taking the helmet off when it comes down to, really. And great.
No, just be an actor. If you're acting in a character that has a helmet on, still act.
No, he's not in the. You know that, right?
Hey, listen, I get you don't want to show up for season 3. I support that. But I
didn't want to show up for season 3.
What was it? Kylo Ren, right? Adam Driver, he put in work to act with a mask on, didn't he? Wasn't am I thinking of somebody else?
No. He did kabuki mask acting,
glasses and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. Come on, Pedro Pascal.
But Pedro Pascal, there is when you see the stunt guys are in the suit, and when he's in the suit, you can actually just really tell that it's not the same thing. They're not the same body type, and it's fine. It's okay. They got it down to a science. They know how to work this. They have him show up for the close-ups when he's got to take the helmet off. The helmets have been off now? Twice? Season 1 and season 2. We didn't see it all in season 3. They'll bring it back for the movie. You don't pay Pedro.
Oh yeah, he loves to whip it out. Whip out that face.
Is he not? Do we not see his face in season 3 at all?
No.
All right.
Yeah, we see it twice in season 2 with one of the best scenes of all Star Wars, with Bill Burr talking about how they lost so many men and then killing that guy right there.
Yeah.
That was such a great scene, and he had to have his helmet off so he can as long as you have a face,
You can act.
you can find as long as you have a face, you can find out all the information you want about the Empire. Just as long as you have a face.
Have you guys ever seen Dances with Wolves?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you remember seeing Kevin Costner's butt in that movie?
No.
Well, I do. And here's my point. Maybe it's time that
Is it
Star
nice?
Wars
Is it good?
takes. I think so. I think that's why he wanted to show it, because I think it was actually his butt. It wasn't a double. And the point being is that maybe we see his face. Like, let's see his ass. Am I right, guys?
Hey.
You should have watched a little more of The Acolyte then.
Oh wait, was there bare ass in The Acolyte? Nobody told me that.
It's not bare, but it's like
No. Basically a guy using a sock to protect his junk while he's talking to a girl. So, that's where we're at.
There's some jarring nudity. Yeah.
What is the sock we're going to protect from? Some sort of rash, maybe?
No, it's like a modesty pouch from when actors have to be naked.
Okay. So it's to protect him and his
He's
modesty.
not wearing a tube sock and Star Wars.
No, yeah, that's what I was thinking. I was like, man, that's can't be canon. They don't have socks.
Oh, this is great. All right. Okay. We got more information on some filming. So Sigourney Weaver, she confirms that she is in The Mandalorian and Grogu. How do you, first of all, every time I say that title, I'm just so mad that the title of this thing is The Mandalorian and Grogu.
Marketing.
Whatever. I mean, they released a movie called The Clone Wars and then a TV show called The Clone Wars, all right?
Yeah. I mean, we Sigourney's been out there for a while that she's going to be in this movie, but now she's talking about it, and she said she got to meet Grogu the other day, so that's lovely. So,
all right, cool. I know who she is.
I love Sigourney Weaver, and it's great. Love her in Aliens. I love her in Ghostbusters. Speaking of Aliens, I saw Alien Romulus, by the way.
Yeah, so did I. What'd you think?
Yeah. I thought most of the movie was good. I thought the last 15 minutes was crap. The last 15.
Yeah, it was an interesting body horror twist at the end.
Yeah.
I would say there's one character in it who I'm glad got killed off because I couldn't understand a word he said for the first half hour. He's hyper Irish or Scottish or something. I don't know that this man is speaking English.
Oh, it's a little nuts. It's a little nuts.
Also made me realize I don't particularly care about the world of Alien. It's just the company. It just doesn't really interest me.
Brian, after watching this one with me, because this is Maeve's stuff. Her favorite movie in the world is Aliens, and then I think she prefers 3 and 4. She doesn't like any of the prequel stuff with Prometheus and Covenant or whatever it is, and she does not like Alien at all. She thinks it's boring. I know, it's my wife.
Is it?
It's great.
I've only seen it once.
It's more of a it's more of a horror than
it's a
Aliens.
woman alone in space, so there's not a lot of.
Well, she's not alone in space till the end, but there's a whole crew
she's
there.
Kind of alone for a lot of it, right?
Not an Alien.
Oh, okay, I've only seen it once.
So I get it. It's not her cup of tea. That's fine. She watches Aliens probably once every couple of months, but
rightly so. It's a masterpiece.
Yeah, I to me, like when you say, in my opinion, when you say what sequels are better than the original, to me it's Aliens. I do think Aliens is better than Alien.
Yeah, I would say that, and then Terminator 2.
Yes, that's another one. Yeah. All right, more movie news. By the way, I love how they have to headline this because Tamar Morrison is so crazy. Tamar Morrison claims he was originally in The Mandalorian season 4, but hasn't been called for the movie.
Sure, Tam. All right.
Here's the quote. I understand they're going to do a Mando with Grogu next year. These things have changed a little too. There was going to be a Mando season 4, I think, and I was going to turn up in that. But as of now, I'm still waiting for the phone call, to be quite honest.
I mean, listen. Mando got to steal an episode of his show. Seems fitting that Boba Fett should be in the movie. Like, it seems fair.
Mando got to steal
and here's the difference.
3 episodes of his show.
No, but he was the main character of a single episode, and they didn't talk about Boba Fett at all.
Right.
And nobody cared. That's the difference. When we see the Mando, like, Boba Fett came, or Mandalorian came and helped out the show. Mandalorian doesn't need help with his own movie. He might, but I'm going to choose to believe.
Yeah, I take it okay, they can't take the whole season that season 4 was going to be and turn it into a movie. You got to actually, pick some stuff and take it out and go from there,
Yeah.
Sounds like they took out Boba Fett.
Yeah, that's what it looks like. Now, this one is my all-time favorite one here, is Keanu Reeves. I don't know if you know this or not, but Keanu Reeves was the candidate to play Master Soul. I feel like he dodged a huge bullet with this one.
Oh, was he?
Yeah.
I can see that. Okay.
By the way, did you like the Matrix reference with dodging the bullet? Just wanted to put that out there. Okay. He really wanted to do it because he wanted to work with his best friend, Carrie Ann Moss. So he thought that was a good idea. He liked the script, liked the fact that Soul dies. He wanted to be a one season and get out. And then Lionsgate wouldn't give him the time because they're 8 months behind on Ballerina.
On what?
Ballerina is now I'm going to go with like a subset of John Wick. They are, I guess, the women that are assassins. So he's going to be in that for a little bit. So he can't do, or he couldn't do the Acolyte.
Gotcha. Okay.
Now, the whole Star Wars fandom really never unites in anything. And the one thing they unite for is for Keanu to play Revan. That's what everybody wants.
Yeah, that's been the fan cast for a while. Yeah.
Right. So like, let that happen. But here's my favorite thing is the quote from Lucasfilm is that they have an open door for him at Lucasfilm. And I'm like, yeah, no, duh.
That's bull.
But no, it's not bull. Of course,
no, it 100% is, because that's the equivalent of like, yeah, man, let's hang out sometime, and then neither of us make any plans.
No,
and
man, that's not the way I'm
out.
taking it. I'm taking it like, of course you have an open door. The same way you would have an open door for Tom Cruise. If Tom Cruise or Keanu Reeves or Leo wants to do a Star Wars show, what are they going to say? No? Go ahead.
I'm just saying, the difference being, especially between those guys, is you're talking about a major movie star that is universally liked, not just by like fans, but also, as far as I know, the people in the industry who work with them. So it's like, yeah, Keanu Reeves could probably call his shot with a lot of things in his career if he wanted to, and especially at this stage in it. Whereas like Leonardo DiCaprio, like, yeah, like he wants to make a Star Wars movie, like he's money, right? He's a big name, but like, I don't know, Leonardo DiCaprio, like I don't know. If I had to save one person from a burning building, and it was like Keanu Reeves or Leonardo DiCaprio, it'd be Keanu Reeves. And no disrespect to Leo, but like he's had a good run.
Yeah, Leo doesn't particularly do anything for me box office wise, maybe because I'm older than 25.
Yeah, and also when's the last time? Again, I love his movies. He picks great movies
but
and
that's
does
the point
great.
you're saying is the stature of Leo, the stature of Tom Cruise, the stature of Keanu Reeves. Of course, you're going to say we're going to have an open door because you're going to talk to them. They're doing you the favor of coming onto your show.
Listen, Tom Cruise ain't doing no Star Wars movie. No. Tom Cruise ain't lowering himself to anything that's not a Tom Cruise-centric project and a movie. He's not doing TV.
Of course he's not. All right.
He had to slum it at the Olympics. Are you kidding me? Hey. He's done. He's done with TV for the rest of his life now.
There's a John Williams documentary coming out. Did you know that?
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah. It's going to be released in theater for a little run, but then it's going to come to Disney Plus on November 1st. And it will feature, of course, his career. And I think the world premiere for this is going to be on opening night at the AFI Fest on October 23. And the film, let's see. Oh, here's the tagline. From his early days as jazz pianist to his 54 Oscar nominations and 5 wins, the documentary celebrates Williams' countless contributions to the moving image arts, music for the concert stage, as well as the inevitable impact on popular culture.
He got nominated 54 times and only won 5?
Yeah.
Sounds like a big loser to me. I don't know why we're celebrating him.
5 what, Oscars?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's one of those things where it's just like, we could give this to John Williams every year, but like that wouldn't be fun for anybody. Yeah, so I'm sure he's the first person to be like, listen, give me the ones that you think really stand out, and then like, yeah, go ahead and let Trent Reznor have one. Why not?
It's like the guy from Nine Inch Nails. Meryl Streep is there one every year. It's just like, we can't give it to Meryl Streep all the time.
Also, like, yeah, I just can't bring myself to say anything bad about John Williams, so I'm just gonna not.
No, you better not.
No, but I'm just saying, like, you know it when you hear it, right? You know it.
Sure,
you know it when you hear
of course.
It.
All right, let me ask you a question, Dora. I asked Mike this the other day. Keeping it in Star Wars, what is your favorite John Williams soundtrack in Star Wars?
In Star Wars?
Yeah.
I just look at them as all one, so it'd be kind of hard for me to like.
Okay, we were separated.
But if I had to think about it, then I would just say Empire, because Empire is when you've got the Empire theme, and like that's pretty strong.
Yeah, Brian.
You know, if you wanted me to sit down and watch the movies and really like pay attention to the scoring and to be like, yes, this is the moment, that's the moment. But Empire also, I love the oh god, what's the one? It always makes me think of Batman Forever in a weird way. They're going through the asteroids, like that theme.
Yes.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
I wish I could name it. But like, there's another. So yeah, I guess when I think about it, like Empire comes up, but also Phantom Menace. Like, come on, Phantom Menace, man. like Duel of Fates and
Yeah,
that
Duel of
kind
Fates is pretty.
yeah.
Yeah.
the pod racing music, the trumpets, the celebration at the end, like that's pretty good too. So one of those two.
Okay. Brian?
Mine again. I don't know I don't know the name of it, but it's where the snow speeders are going out and looking for Han
Yes.
and Luke.
Yes.
It's
That's
like, and
one of
like
the best
I
ones.
always associate that with
That's it.
Shadows of
That's
the
another
Empire.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you know, but
It's
Brian,
like
do you also know that is
yeah, that.
Yep.
that's Cloud City? They actually just took a chunk of it from Cloud City and put it in there because there wasn't any music. This is getting really nerdy, but when George makes some decisions, it's not like they make it out to be that George is like, oh, we got John Williams, we can all have lunch now. He has that line all the time, right? But he made a decision to remove some music and add some music, and that was adding some music. And if you go listen to Cloud City, you could still hear it in there. Like I think pretty much on the album, you don't get it as listed for the Snowspeeders. It's only listed as the Cloud City suite, and then you got to get in there and find out where it is. And when I chop it up, because the one thing I love that we do is we always play different music on the intro, and I always love that Snowspeeder one. That's great. So to me, it is Empire. For that, I like the of course the Imperial March, and I love again going through the asteroids. Some of that asteroids too is so close to Marion and Indy going through the village. It's so good stuff, man. And it's like everything is good. I love it. The Jaws soundtrack is fantastic. All these soundtracks that he does is just wonderful, and he's a gift. Like when I grew up, my grandfather was big into classical music and he had these reel-to-reel tapes that he would have play all the time. He actually had a music room. The front room of the house was his music room, and Mike and I think that's where we dove into these soundtracks because that's our version of classical music. If you ask me, I come on, you're not going to tell me like John Williams is this version of Mozart and those guys. They're just not doing. They didn't do soundtracks because there wasn't any movies there. You can't belittle him because he's just doing movies, right? I mean, that's the form that we have now. His music is phenomenal, and as at my age and even your guys' age, it's my childhood, right?
I don't know that anyone's actually belittling John Williams for anything.
I'm not saying they are, but I'm just saying you have to keep it that high of a standard because that's how good he is. So, all right, up next, comic books. I know Thor. Thor, I gotta ask you a question. You were into the Star Wars comic books, the first run, when Disney bought them. Yes. I remember us buying them together, physical copies, and then it kind of petered out for us. And then they
started hitting you too much.
What was that?
It's too much to keep up with, but
yes. Then they, I don't know how many times they rebooted like a Darth Vader line, right? How many? There's always a Darth Vader comic book coming out, and they're always starting with one again. Okay.
He's an easy character to draw.
Yeah. They make the jump to Empire Strikes Back after Empire. So now Han's not in there. It's gone on for a couple years. Now they're making the jump to after Return of the Jedi. And before they do the jump, they're starting with the Battle of Jakku. And it's going to be over 3 different miniseries. One came out already, looks like. It's let me make sure I got this right. The Battle of Jakku, Insurgency Rising. And then the next one is going to be Battle of Jakku, Republic Under Siege. And I think some of these are like 4 issues deep on each one. And then the third one is not announced yet what the title is going to be. But do you like that idea? Do you like we played a lot of Battlefront. We were always on the Battle of Jakku a lot. Do you like the idea of them touching on that a little bit more of some information about where Han, Luke, and Leia was during the Battle of Jakku and stuff like that?
Yeah, I don't know. You gotta play the ball where it lies, I guess. So if that's the case, then sure, let's do it. The comic books. The thing with the comic book is that they never are able to do anything terribly interesting with the canon, and they're prisoners to it. And it's just like a sitcom where at the end of the episode, everything's just got to be the way it was at the beginning of the episode. And that's a lot. As just somebody who reads stories and stuff, for me to spend $5 on an issue of a comic book and feel like it's just kind of fluff. That's kind of my opinion and my take on those. Now, I haven't read them all, so certainly I could be wrong, and I'm just putting that out there. But I think that's the thing that hurts Star Wars comics oftentimes is just what are the stakes? What does it matter? And who cares? And sometimes it can be interesting, and good writing is good writing. So you get a hold of somebody who can write really well and take you on a journey where yes, things are the way that they were at the beginning of it, but you still feel good about it. That's special. But I don't think that's the case very often with these books. I think they just kind of chip them out.
I think it's the same for all of Disney publishing. Because the books, anytime that the books are close to the timelines, they won't do anything. They don't let
Star
the
Wars.
authors. Yeah.
Nobody wants to commit to anything. Just everybody can come back from the dead. You know,
like High Republic. We just saw the end of High Republic on TV, and it did not fare well. There's that High Republic, because they don't release numbers. You could find numbers, and I think when people are complaining how bad it is, I don't trust the numbers they're giving you because it's probably their own numbers. You know what I'm saying? But I don't know how many people are watching the High Republic. I mean, I'm sorry, reading the High Republic. I know a lot of people that I've talked to, like at my other job, who listen to books when we're working and stuff. They jumped on it, just like me and Thor did, and they fizzled out 2 or 3 books into it, and they were out.
I'm surprised I made it 2 or 3 books.
Yeah. I think the Rock guy really is the one that cemented for me that I was done.
Dwayne Johnson?
Yeah, that's it. This guy was just a rock, you remember?
Oh, Geode.
You remember the...
I remember the name because I met a guy who had a tattoo of him at Star Wars Celebration.
That's right.
It was wild, and I got to watch him show that to the woman who created it, who I like. I mean, listen, it's science fiction, right? So it's like, I'm on board with weird concepts. I know that one's like really hard to reach because it's like, well, how is he operating things if he's a rock and does he have, I don't know if it's well thought through, but like, that's not the thing that killed that for me. I read that book. I enjoyed that book. Go ahead, Brian.
Question. When you say a rock, do you mean like the rock monster from Galaxy Quest?
Nope.
Or is it just
rock.
Like a rock with a lightsaber next to it? Be like, oh yeah, that's Frank. Like, what? That's not a thing. That's an inanimate object.
That is, I think, actually it, Brian. Yes.
It's like
the second one.
A 6-foot rock that's flat, right? Like, it wasn't like, almost like a tombstone looking thing the last time I saw a drawing of it.
Okay,
Again,
so the Acolyte isn't the only thing with bad writing. All right.
Okay, Thor, you saw the tattoo. What the tattoo look like on the guy's arm? Or did he put it on his arm?
Oh, that's right. No, that's what I'm saying. Like, it looked like a slab.
It's a slab, yes. A tombstone.
I mean, here we go, Brian. I don't know if you can see this.
Hang on, what's the character's name? I'm gonna look it up myself.
Geode.
Why are we talking about this? How did we get on Geode? I feel like this comes back a lot. Geode was a...
You got to be kidding me.
Vintian male who acted as the navigator of the transport starship vessel along the pilot.
How does it move?
Giassi?
It doesn't make any sense.
No, but it doesn't make sense to you and me as we're very used to our human world and stuff. Now, this thing could have an intelligence that helps it, flip switch. It could be telepathic. We don't know. I don't think it was really explained that well in the book, if I'm remembering correctly, but it was a long time ago that I read it.
Yes.
If it has telepathic power, like how does it exist in physical space and make changes in its physical space and communicate with others? I don't quite know the answer to that. We should ask Claudia Gray. She seemed nice.
No, listen, you know what this was? This was somebody threw out this idea at a table read, or a writer was like, let's see if I put this in here, and then we'll see if the editor notices. And then nobody did, and then it got published.
I like to think that
this is bad. This is
Claudia Gray. Listen, even if I'm not saying 100% one way or the other, but Claudia Gray has enough goodwill, in my opinion, for writing Star Wars that I would definitely give her a pass on this if I even thought it was bad, which I'm not saying I do.
Yeah, I like her books a lot.
Let's do an episode on it. I don't want to talk about it now, but let's dive deep. Has he been in anything else? Let's see. He was in Into the Dark, which is the book that I read. High Republic Adventures, which I think are the comic books. Another comic book. The Fallen Star? Which one is that?
Wait, you want to do an episode on Geode?
Yeah.
I mean, we got 3 guys watching the show. We're going to be down to 1 dude.
Hey, listen, people want to know. All right, what else are you talking about? Let's leave Geode alone for a while.
People wanted to know. They would have watched The Acolyte.
It wasn't The Acolyte.
Ryan, Star Wars Outlaws came out. I know you don't have it. Yes. We did not pre-order it. My son said we're not playing this pre-order game. We will see how it goes. It's got glitches, for what I've been reading. 7 out of 10, though, on most people's sheet, so that's not horrible. It's not amazing.
Yeah, any open world game these days launches with glitches and bugs and crap like that. That's to be expected.
But Star Wars fans are having a good time with it. That much I will tell you.
Yeah, I heard it's very middle of the road.
Right.
The story's a little weak, and it's really your enjoyment's going to be based on how much you can actually not make your own fun, but like how much you could actually get engrossed in the world.
Right. It's $70 for the game and $40 for the subscription. Whatever it is, that's $110 that I can wait. I can wait until it drops.
Same. Particularly, I don't have a PlayStation 5.
Right.
Like, all right, I'll get it on sale. Like,
Dude,
I'm not
that's
really dying to play.
Yeah, listen,
with okay reviews, like, I could wait.
$110, and I think it's 2 stories, and I forget what they call the subscription. I feel like I'm an old man now, but Connor knows it. Yeah, Season Pass. That's exactly what it is. $40 for a Season Pass that right now has a Jabba the Hutt mission, which you have a Jabba the Hutt mission in the game, so it's a second Jabba the Hutt mission. And then you see Hondo. Okay, that's great with Hondo, but is it worth $40? And I don't know if these Season Passes ever go down. It's more likely the game might go down, and then so if I can get the Season Pass and the game for $80, then I'll be okay with that. But not $110, man.
They regularly go on sale.
Yeah,
like not going to go on sale
especially
for a little bit.
Tank.
Yeah. But very famously, Battlefront 2 launched and went on sale really quickly because I bought it for like $3. And I remember this. It was before I bought a PlayStation 4, so I'm like, okay, you know what? I'll buy this, and I get Battlefront 2 for $4. And I texted Thor, I'm like, hey, I'm gonna buy Battlefront 2. If I buy it, will you play with me? He's like, oh, yeah, absolutely. And guess how many times we played Battlefront 2?
None.
Exactly.
You bought it too late because me and Campbell would play all the time.
I don't think it was as close to what you thought it was for $3. I think there was a little bit of time there. Because we played
I'll
bit.
Play right now. Like,
yeah.
Oh, I've uninstalled that thing a year ago. I'm not.
You sold a $4 game?
No, I just uninstalled it.
Oh, uninstalled it. I thought you said you sold it.
Yeah, and then it's gonna take 3 hours to reinstall it. So I'm just like, I'm gonna pass.
Brian, get yourself a PS5. You're a man of leisure. You work hard. You're fine. Spend some money on yourself. You deserve it. Okay? As I turn around to look at my robes of crap that are behind
I was about to say, there's a reason you have like a background screensaver, so we don't see the freaking Lego table.
It'd just be my Lego table if the kids don't keep up. It won't let me get rid of it.
Get rid of it. Your kids at college.
Do you see the Lego table? You know what it'd be like for me just to get rid of it myself?
No,
I'm not doing all the work.
Lego table because you have like a concept art of Jabba's palace behind you.
Exactly. No, that's not. That is the cantina, sir.
I don't
Pay
care.
attention. Ralph McCarry at his best. All right.
Filibuster.
We're going to end the show. Let's take a quick break and then we'll come back and we'll end the show.
Don't move along. Don't move along. You have landed on Boring Conversation Anyway, the Empire's #1 podcast.
Okay, so Kathleen Kennedy's contract ends in December 2024.
Thank God. Hope that woman's out of the job.
Does she come back? Let's start with Brian.
Yes, she's 100% going to bring her back.
Okay.
She's been at the forefront of Lucasfilm for 40 years. She's not going anywhere.
40 years?
She's like Putin.
No, she's been around since the sale. She hasn't been around before the sale.
No, but she's the executive producer.
Yeah,
nothing on Star Wars.
George Lucas gave her the job, right? Like, he handpicked her for that job. Didn't he? Yes. I could be wrong. She worked at Stevens Blake forever. And I don't ever want to, like, knock Kathleen Kennedy too hard. You know, obviously, like, she produced some Star Wars movies that I didn't enjoy. But, like, she produced and worked on tons of movies that I super enjoy.
Right.
You know, she's definitely, like, a legend as far as, like, in filmmaking in Hollywood and that kind of thing. She's 71 years old.
Yes.
She can keep working, you know, by all means. She hasn't, trust me, she don't need the money, right? Like,
right. So, my opinion,
she catches a lot.
Maybe want to do something different, though. Maybe she's tired of it.
What she actually does. Like, I couldn't pinpoint the things and be like, Kathleen Kennedy wanted this in, so that's why this is in the movie. You know?
Well, I don't think we get that stuff. But I mean, the clear divide is that someone like George can be someone who is the producer and also the art. He can also take the art in a direction. Whereas Kathleen Kennedy, to me, is a phenomenal, probably the best one ever of producer, but the creative side of it is not her strong suit. But go ahead, Thor.
Just it's a thing we always talk about, and I don't, again, without knowing the day-to-day, I really can't say, but it is, you just can't deny that, like, Star Wars stuff is oftentimes, and maybe it's meant to be, but oftentimes met with mixed reactions. And that's life. You know, Rarely do things make everybody happy. I know Disney keeps trying to make things that make everybody happy, but it's not probably going to happen. the thing to look at is we've always talked about that of like needing those two things. And if you look at, I'm going to give you an example. People don't know or not, if you're a fan of wrestling, WWE is like pretty hot right now. And the quality too is up there more time than it's been in a long time. And a lot of that has to do with Vince McMahon not being a part of the company anymore. They not. And they've got Nick Khan, who is the guy who does the business, all that kind of stuff, right? He runs that stuff. And they've got Triple H, who runs the shows and the creative and all that kind of stuff. And it works beautifully. And they're packing arenas all over the world right now. They're moving to Netflix. They're getting $1 billion for that. Like they're doing pretty good. It seems like Star Wars is just that, where you really need one, maybe singular vision. I don't think it's Filoni. I know everybody wants to say Filoni, but like unless you want nothing but like Ahsoka shows, let's back off of Filoni. He's great. Keep making Star Wars awesome. Be involved. But like, you just need somebody who can see the big picture a little bit better, I think, when it comes to the creative side. And Kathleen Kennedy can still be the producer and produce and stuff. But like, she's got to know when someone tells her like, hey, this isn't gonna, like, I know you want to make this show, but this isn't working. I don't know.
Yeah. Listen. She's 71, her husband's 77. If they wanted to stop, they would stop. Yeah. This is what they love to do. They're going to do it. Now, in my opinion, I think she's going to get a deal until 26. December, Grogu and Mando come out, the movie, and that movie's probably going to do really well. And then she can retire off of something that's really high. That's what I think.
I guess, but at the same time, I can't point to like. Still, I can't point to anything that Kathleen Kennedy is like personally responsible for. Right.
And the question is, how good is the Mando and Grogu going to perform in the theater? Not everybody is got the Disney Plus, and everybody and people who do have the Disney Plus, not all of them jump on the Star Wars shows. So, is the gap from the Rise of Skywalker to this big enough that people will be like, yeah, I'm going back to the theater to see a Star Wars movie?
Probably, just because I think you underestimate how big Grogu is.
Oh, no, that's true. Well, I mean,
that's on every T-shirt and every water bottle, and it's everywhere.
That's why we got season 3.
Like, every kid recognizes that character and is going to want to see this movie.
Right. But I mean, like, that's why we got Grogu in season 3, because they didn't want to give him up. Because there's no way, I will stand on this hill that Favreau was going to let Grogu stay with Luke and do a season, probably just one season with just the Mando. And I think that would have been badass. But, okay, it is what it is. All right. Another question for you. Bob Iger has said that Disney Plus will cut back, on the shows. And I personally believe he was just talking about all of Disney, not Star Wars and Marvel per se. I think they will look at the way they do things, but I don't think they're going to scale back. But of course, fans are freaking out because with no information of any other show, what's lining up, right? Right now we have the Skeleton Crew, the end of this year, beginning of next year. Then we're going to have Andor's season 2, and then I'm sure that's probably going to be the 2 shows for that year. What goes on the following year? As we know, as we're waiting for Ahsoka to film and everything else, so that's going to be a while. What do you think is going to happen? I'll start with Brian.
You talking about Star Wars in particular? Or just Disney as a whole?
Disney Plus with Star Wars, just Star Wars.
I don't know, by that time unless they want to release another animated show.
I think there's been rumors that there's an animated show in the works, but I mean, do you think they're going to cut back on shows, or you think they're going to go forward the way they've been? Or
no, I think after the Acolyte and after like the last couple Star Wars, like the Acolyte in particular, but the last couple Marvel shows have been pretty mixed reviews, particularly with the budget it's going to be. It's like, who watched Echo?
Right. But it's the same thing with Star Wars, right? If you really think about it, I think you go in this order, like, Boba Fett, mixed reviews. Season 3 of The Mandalorian, mixed reviews. Acolyte, mixed. So everything you're turning. Oh, and Ahsoka was mixed reviews. That's 4 shows.
Honestly, I don't remember the reviews. I forget Ahsoka was a show a lot. Like, I enjoyed it. I just forget it exists sometimes.
Yeah, I hear you. You have any thoughts on this, Thor?
Honestly, I don't remember what the question was.
Question was, with Bob Iger talking about scaling back on shows, do you think this will affect Disney?
Scaling back on Star Wars shows or scaling back on shows in general?
He just said Disney Plus will be scaling back on content for the shows and looking at ways they do things. Now, that's fine because they're trying to make more money. But do you think that it's going to affect Star Wars? Like, is Star Wars going to see a drop in shows?
Yeah, I would imagine. You know, because what other original content is Disney Plus really hard on? That's Marvel, Star Wars. I know you've got
their own Disney stuff, which I have no idea about.
Some Disney stuff here and there that comes out. But yeah, you know, it's just the thing of like, where do you go to watch new shows? You go to HBO Max, you go to Netflix, but Disney Plus has never been the place to like see what's happening, like see what's like people are talking about.
What's the hot new thing?
Mandalorian, but other than that,
I don't think the form that we're seeing Disney Plus is going to be the form that's going to be forever, because you know Paramount, they just merged with another group. You know, they got bought out and they're merging together. They're writing on the wall. It looks like Peacock and HBO Max are going to probably merge. That's probably the two partners that's going to hit.
Oh, cool. So, all right, I'll take that because now I'll have access to Peacock. Sweet.
Right. And I honestly could see Apple, with all the money they have, trying to figure out how to do this. And some of their stuff is really good and some of their stuff is really expensive and it's not great. But, you know, I could see them going with Disney. They're already with Disney in so many things. Like, they've done all the infrastructure for all the technology in the parks. So I can really see them coming together with their kind of cachet. They have a ton of money that they don't spend.
I mean, Disney's already kind of in bed with Hulu.
Well, they own it, Hulu, so that would all come together.
Right.
Yeah. They own Hulu, so it would come together. It would all come together. And they own ESPN. All that stuff would come together with Apple. I can see that happening down the line if they're so worried about cash and money. But on that being said, we're out of here soon. But I just want to ask, Thor, you want to tease the next project we're doing?
No.
All right.
So we'll see you next week.
No, we're not going to see you next week. We already talked about this.
We'll see you the week after next.
Yes. We'll see you in 2 weeks, and I guess no tease on the show. Why is that?
Yeah, I'm not going to commit to anything.
Yes, I knew it, you son of a bitch. I knew.
Okay.
Yeah, Thor, you got a busy schedule, do you?
I won't commit to doing something an hour from now, let alone 2 weeks from now. You're your mind. And yes, I do have a busy schedule.
Yeah. I hear you.
Taking care of everybody. Forget it. It's not important.
All right. Listen. Before he goes on a rant, we'll do that off air. All right. Brian, you'd like to say goodbye? Thanks I appreciate you coming on for this one. I know that you're not on deck until December 3rd. So.
I was about to say, I got the text. I'm like, I'm sorry. I didn't realize there was a TV show going on right now. This is somehow falling into become my problem.
Hey, if we get another trailer of...
it's actually more of a wellness check, Brian, than anything else.
Oh, I need a wellness check? Yeah, Thor? Yeah?
Don't worry about you. You really have a stressful job. Come on.
Coming from the guy who doesn't respond to text messages ever.
Yeah, well, that's related to my brain injuries, not my overall well-being.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I'm gonna send you a picture. I found it like a secret gate spot, like next to where I live. It's actually really cool. It's like
I'd love to see it.
It's like somebody actually built like a pool.
I love homemade.
Like it's like a Tony Hawk's Pro Skater level. Like,
oh man, this is not interesting to the podcast, but you know Burnside in Tony Hawk's Pro Skater. Do you remember that? The level Burnside.
No.
Never mind.
Which game?
I skated it for the first time in my life last month, and it was pretty cool because that park was completely homemade under a bridge in Portland, and it's still there. You know, it was in the first Tony Hawk game. But anyways,
aren't you like 40? Aren't you too old to be skating?
I'm 35, and that's like 95 in skateboarding years. So you're absolutely right. Yeah, the next time I go down, I'll go down for life. But until then, I'm still gonna be riding.
All right, guys, let's get out of here already. All right, guys, thank you again. No show next week. We'll be back with a show after. And I want to thank you guys for checking this out. We'll see you soon. Go make some droids.